What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And as always, I like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. And it's Dr. Vibe Allies Night. So if you don't know what Dr. Vibe Allies is, on the last Thursday of each month, we get Black men from Canada, the United States, and England. We get together and we chat about whatever is on our alleged mind and in our alleged hearts. We started this a long time ago. Then we took a break. And then we're, as we say, back on the block. And it's interesting that I don't think there's too many live online conversations which feature Black men from 3 different countries and 2 different continents. It's done at least on a monthly basis or somewhat regular basis. Tell me if there's another one. If you can, hey, no problem. I will say at least there's 2. All I know about is one right now. And we have at least one of the allies on. We had another one on and he logged out for a second. So I don't, you know what? We're having technical difficulties all over the place. Let me pull this off. Okay. That's what our logo is. And big thanks to intern Max who made that happen. Let's put the logo up in the corner. There we go. We got it right. So a little bit of a jumpy start, but we're okay. We are talking about a different things tonight. And we're going to bring up Victory Unlimited from Memphis, Tennessee, home of Serious Ribs. What's going on, Memphis man? You are
Look,
on. There we go.
We are the home of many things, Doc. A lot of good ribs. I'm going to be eating some of those this weekend, hopefully. For Labor Day, I'll be laboring and eating
beef
some
or pork. Beef or pork?
Beef, of course.
Oh, thank you. Good. I'm not a too much of a pork fan, and I think beef ribs are the bomb.
And we're also trying to keep our blood pressure down to a normal level.
You know, that's one of the things about our people's food. It tastes good, but man, it catches up to you health-wise.
Most definitely. Look, one thing that was discovered for me, and I just pass it on, and that is 2 words, Mrs. Dash. There you go.
Hey! You know what? I haven't had that for a long time. I have not, man. You bring up an item, man. I haven't had that in a minute.
Look, I don't know how many flavors. I don't know how many flavors they got, but it's almost. Is it 31 like Baskin Robbins? I don't know.
You know that? Yeah, they had their tagline of how many flavors. You know what? I'm gonna look that up. How many flavors, you know, using flavors are in Mrs. Dash. Oh, I haven't heard about that in forever. With the green, they had a yellow cap and a green cap, and there was also, they had different color caps.
Look, I think they are trying to see how many colors of caps they can amass because they keep coming up with new ones.
All right, so okay, Mrs. Dash. Let's see. Oh, I haven't had, man, VU. That's the hit of the day. I haven't had that salt-free flavor. The salt-free flavor statement. That's their trademark. So there's the table brand. You know what? You know, why don't we just use technology here? You know, why don't we just use technology and use what's available here? So let's put it up on the screen. Mrs. Dash. All right. We're going to put this is a free promo for Mrs. Dash. Let's make it happen here. Come on. Let's get it going. Let's come on. Okay, there you go. Table blend, onion and herb, garlic and herb, and extra
Mhm.
spicy. You know what?
Mhm.
Man, I
That's
shouldn't
just the
get
first
some.
four.
They- I shouldn't get some, but man, I feel like being bad and getting some for the weekend. Oh,
Look, that'll
Miss
be good. What's bad about salt free?
True,
Yeah,
true, true. You got a point there. You got a point there. But Man, you see what comes up?
yeah.
The allies, Mrs. Dash.
Look,
What?
I was wondering. So is that across continents? I guess it is. If you know about it, then I know about it.
Oh
It's
yeah, I knew. No, yeah. I don't do as much as I used to, but I love my grilling.
mhm.
So you need to have some season and flavor when you're doing
Look,
your grilling, right? So that's
look,
all good. And by the
look.
way, if you're watching this live, put your comments in whatever platform you're watching. Tell us where you're chiming in from. And hey, are you a Mrs. Dash fan? Are you vegan? So Mrs. Dash isn't well, maybe you could use it even if you're vegan. You can use Mrs. Dash. And we're broadcasting this on the last day of August, and tomorrow starts September. And in the Toronto area where I'm based, it's been really cool. Like this morning, I got up, it was 46, 47 degrees in the morning.
Man, I'm jealous. We've been averaging 100 degrees, a
Well,
hundred
yeah,
degrees
well,
here in Tennessee.
yeah. And the funny thing is, we didn't have, and I'm saying this for Fahrenheit people, we didn't
Mhm.
have a day in August over that got to 85 degrees.
Is that usual or unusual, Doc?
No, that's unusual in August for Toronto.
Oh,
That is
so
really unusual. Hey, well, look who's okay. Let's take Mrs. Dash off since Clive has entered back into the world.
mhm.
So let's put Clive
Hey,
back up. And also, let's
hey,
say greetings to Ryan O'Neill Knight. Ryan O'Neill Knight is the co host with me on Monday and Friday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern Time on the Morning Vibe. So, what up, Ryan O'Neill Knight on LinkedIn? Greetings, everyone. Wow.
Greetings,
How are you?
greetings, greetings.
Okay, hold on a second. Okay, he's watching it on my LinkedIn page. Thank you very much, Ryan. This is all good. So, you know what? Clive Henry is back. I thought you dashed us.
sorry about this. We're in the UK. Maybe the weather's knocked us out, but I got locked up. Do
What?
apologize.
What do you mean about that?
I'm so far away.
Oh,
We are.
You know,
well,
Clive is always calling in from a hidden bunker somewhere in his part of the world.
Rob,
what's
Robin Hood
what
City. Robin Hood City.
what is going on, Clive Henry from Nottingham City in the UK, where it is what time right now? Because we always have to ask what time it is when you're live with us. What time is it right now?
It it is Friday, the 1st of September at 2:09 a.m. So we're in
Wow.
the next day.
Well, Clive, I was bragging about you the other day that
Yes.
you have been available for every one of these that we've done over the years, even with sometimes a 5-hour time difference.
Yes.
Exactly.
That that
Exactly.
that's that
Beast mode on.
that's something to be said right there. That's something to be said right now. I'm telling you. Okay, let's jump in here. Frequency Event Promotions from the Toronto area says hello. And Ryan
Oh,
Knight he's now on
Hello.
YouTube watching it. Hello. By the way, Frequency Event Promotions and Ryan Knight, you're more than welcome to join into the conversations we have once a month, by the way. You know how to get a hold of me. Or if you want to come in even right now, tell me and
definitely.
I could send you the link and you can join us. So if you're up for it, guys, just say, message me on YouTube. I got your email addresses. You can join the conversation in real time. So, hey,
Definitely.
the more the merrier. The more the merrier. Actually, I do have another gentleman who was supposed to make it tonight, but he had a little of a food cooking accident yesterday. But he is a huge fan of the Allies. Huge fan. Actually, and he's even a bigger fan of Iron Mike, and he loves Iron Mike.
maybe
So
General.
maybe
he,
maybe Aaron Mike will be back in with us next month. I talked to him
yeah,
today, so we'll see.
yeah, Yeah, that's to my understanding. The last time he communicated with me, he said that looking around in September he'd join back onto the mission. So I'm looking
Mm-hmm.
forward to that. Looking forward to that. So yeah, Ryan and Frequency Event Promotions. Yeah, if you want to join in for a few minutes, just shout me out. Tell me on YouTube. I'll email you in real time and I'll give you the link. You can join us. So that's good. Clive, what's been going on in your world, by the way?
Well, in the UK, nothing much. We've had a good summer. We've had a lot of rain in summer, so we've had some weird weather, but it's still been warm. You know, I'm a cab driver in the UK, so my life is very much people, talking to people, driving people around, and going all over the country. So I've been all over recently. Last
How
week I
long
was
you
at
been,
Birmingham Airport.
Clive? How long have you been doing that for now?
Since 2014. So next year's 10 years.
Wow. And for really, and what were you doing before for our family that don't know?
Before that, I've worked at quite a few places, but I've done IT. I've worked for the UK government in Nottingham. I've worked for UPS as a sales manager. I've been in the restaurant business. I've been in the retail
Wow.
business. So
Oh,
I'm
geez.
qualified to do everything. Jack of all trades, basically. Jack of all trades.
Oh my goodness, that's
Clive,
fantastic.
Clive, you are the Swiss Army knife of the Allies. You
Yes.
can do it all.
I love
most,
that. That's fantastic.
most
The
definitely.
Swiss Army knife of the Allies. I like that. You know, instead of putting in your tagline author of racism is real, you should put the Swiss Army knife of the Allies instead. I think maybe that's what we need to put in, the Swiss Army knife of the Allies. Let me just check something here. Good stuff.
Do they still
Fantastic. Just
make
got
those?
Yes, they
yeah.
do. Mm-hmm.
I I
Okay,
remember them as
okay.
a
So
child. I don't know if I've seen one recently.
okay, hold on a second. Ryan O'Neill Knight, you saying, "Oh shoot, I would have put me down for next month." Hey, do you got 5 minutes now, Ryan? I can bring you in now. You don't need no formal invitation, but certainly next month. But do you have a few minutes right now, Ryan? I could bring in. We're gonna get to the conversation topic that VU brought in. Okay, so Frequency Event Promotion says, I echo that. Means you want to come in next month? Is that what you mean? Or if you want, you can even come in for a few minutes now. You don't have to like stay for the whole thing. You give the go do an appetizer appearance. So tell me what is best for you guys. But now we'd even take you for a few moments now. Doesn't have to be for the end. You know, I never had that type of hair, but they had the use of a product called Brill Cream. Remember that, VU? And they said a
Oh
little
yeah.
dab will do it.
Yes, I do. A
Okay,
little
give me
dab will
50.
do you.
Okay, this is good. So Ryan says, give me 15 minutes and send me the link. So what I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
do right now, I'm gonna send it to you right now, Ryan, via your email, and you can join us in I'm gonna hold you to your word. This is what you call multi-purposing, multitasking, multi-purposing. So greetings, and we're gonna do that. Okay. All right. So we're gonna have a plethora, a gang of black men next month because we're gonna have us three. Hopefully, Henri Morris will be making. Juice Man Jonathan Shaw said he'd be able to make it. Don't know where he is, but now we have Frequency Event Promotions. Christopher Lawrence will come in from Canada. We also have Ryan O'Neill Knight from Canada. So we're going to have a plethora of black men and also Dr. Well, another guest that I have to put in. So I have to send out these emails this weekend and say, lock in the date for September. I'll give you the date in September already. September 28th at 9 p.m. So we're going to have some more allies in the battle. So maybe, and that definitely, we need to have a conversation topic, not a mismatch. but I'd like to have a conversation. So whoever puts the topic up first, that's what we're going to talk about. Maybe some other stuff, but it's going to put up first. So Ryan, I've sent you the link. Frequency Event Promotions. I don't know if you're still here. No problem. But Ryan, your countdown is on. You have got 13 minutes until that's going to start shouting you out. All right. So VU has got a conversation topic for us.
Yeah,
VU
and
wants to talk about ownership. Go ahead, VU.
No, you. Yeah, I was just about to say. Probably about two or 3 minutes ago, you used the word plethora, and for those people who didn't read that page of the dictionary, that means a lot of black men are about are about to be on the air right now. So
Okay.
I'm just playing. I'm just joking.
No, but you know what? This is good. I've been doing a lot of laughing today, so you're just as we said before we came on, let the good times roll. Let the good times roll. So
let them roll.
So you bring in the conversation topic to the platform tonight. Ownership and freedom and the responsibilities that come with it. Kick it off, and why do you want to chat about this tonight?
You know, I just think a lot of issues that we encounter in life, whether we be black men, which we are, or any man or any woman, we face a lot of gatekeepers in our lives. There are a lot of barriers to entry to many things. And I think that's usually an occurrence that is a result of us always, almost as a knee-jerk reaction, wanting to be a part of someone else's thing, rather than creating or owning our own. And so that's what came to mind when I thought of the topic.
No, I think that's really good. I want to build a little bit on that, VU. Is part of the challenge for a number of melanated people, we let people who don't look like us define us?
Yes, that's definitely it. And also, I think it's a learned behavior, because let's look at, I don't know how it is exactly, in Toronto or in Nottingham, but I would imagine it's similar. And it is this: how many of us growing up, those of us who are of a certain age or decade of life, how many of us grew up thinking, hey, go to school, maybe even go for higher education, get out, and go get a job and work for somebody else for the rest of your life? How many of us are taught to, yes, go to school or
Get
obtain a skill, and then go into business? I think a lot of times that occurs to us later on in life as opposed to early on. And a lot of us kind of suffer or are embattled because of it.
I have some things I want to add to that, but I'm going to let Clive Henry jump in. Go ahead, Clive.
Well, exactly what VU said is from a young age, we are taught to be workers and we're not taught to be owners. So I think that's across the board with all of human beings. It's not just, as melanated people, but from the historical point of view, we've always been the backbone, the foundation for all industry, whether it be from slavery or companies. We are always there, holding everything up. So we have always had that responsibility, but not being as an ownership, it's always been to hold somebody else up. We see it even today. You look at anything, whether it be sports, music, industry, you're always going to see black faces there, in the background, and they're the support, the back, doing a lot of the work. I'll give it a good example. Inventions, what are known worldwide, a lot of these inventions are now coming to light that they were done by native people and claimed by slave owners. So we have always had that, entrepreneurship, but we haven't had the freedom to do it. So we're very much shackled in a sense, and it is a thing that isn't encouraged. even as your parents would say, oh, you know, you're going to get a good job and etc. with good benefits. You know, you see that a lot. You don't really have a school or your parents saying, oh, I want you to become a bit, unless that parent owned a business and was passing that business down for you to come and work for the business. You know, it just doesn't really, it's not the norm. It's like a rare thing even today. Like, I'm self-employed as a taxi driver. My parents worked for different companies throughout their life until, you know, until my father passed. He worked for other companies, never had his own. Well, he did actually. Let's tell a lie. When he was in Jamaica, he had a shop, and then when he came over to the UK, then he started working for other people. So, you know, it's one of those things. Availability, having that option, which a lot of melanated people don't have, the finances. I mean, now things have changed, but back in the day, you know, if you look at the only examples I can think of is like Wall Street, but that was an industry that was thriving. But what happened? People destroyed it. So I guess it's very difficult for the melanated people to function in a world where we have got so many obstacles. It's virtually impossible, even if you're doing well.
There's a number of things that have run through my mind, but one thing right now, am I wrong? Am I wrong saying I should be saying black instead of melanated?
You can say whichever comes to mind. I mean, basically, we all know what both mean. Melanated is
But
more or less the new word.
yeah, but the see, melanated may include people who are, and no offense, I'm
Yeah.
asking myself, and I'm asking both of you, should I just use black? Because melanated could encompass, and no offense, could include people from South Asia, from India. I can't speak for their experience as good as they can.
I think it depends upon the focus of where we're taking the subject, Doc and Clive, because black could be appropriate. Uh, in some cases, some statements such as foundational black Americans could be appropriate. You know, Canadian black Americans, you know, what have you.
Okay.
So
I think I just a light came to me saying, I'm going, I wonder if someone's going to come and say, what do you mean by melanated? Black, say black. So it just, I'm ping ponging in my head right now, and I've used the word melanated for a long time, whereas I don't use white that often. I say non-melanated. So I said, well, that's the opposite, you know. But when you
you
say
know what it
melanated,
is. You know what it
go
is,
ahead.
Doc. We know what you mean when you say melanated, but
Okay,
like Clive
okay,
said, it is a newer term that is
okay,
rising. So
okay.
black may be the safest.
Okay, let me say black. Okay,
Yeah.
let me go back to, let's say, the black thing. So the thing I want to add on there is, I was going to ask you, Clive, you and I'm an entrepreneur. You're an entrepreneur. VU, I consider you're a little bit of an entrepreneur also, but full time you have a job, as they say. How many people in our family lineage owned things? Like, how many people had, like, the freedom allegedly of like they were an entrepreneur? Like, in my background, right now, off the top of my head, the only people I have that are true entrepreneurs, I have a sister and her husband. They live in London, England. They've been making their income solely on teaching salsa dancing all around the world for the last 15, 20 years. Everyone else in our immediate family,
Wow.
outside of me, job.
Yeah.
I think I
So
have a
ownership.
similar background. I think I have a
Go
similar
ahead.
background, Clive and Doc. The amount of entrepreneurs or business owners is minimal. Those of us who uh, work a honest day's job for honest day's pay is more prevalent. Yeah.
Yeah. Clive, about yourself, you mentioned your father. Anyone else in the immediate family had that ownership, freedom spirit?
No, not. I cannot think of anyone what comes to mind. Not
Okay.
not at all. Not at all. They've all got working for different establishments. So
Mm, mm.
apart from myself, who's like self-employed, but and that was through force, not through, I'm glad it happened that I was forced into this, because it's made me smarter and wiser, and understanding how the world works, being self-employed. But yeah, it's things that are not pushed and educated on, so we're not even aware. When you go to school, they go, what do you want to be? They don't say, are you going to set up your own company? Are you going to be the next airline? They don't say anything like that. It's just not unheard of.
Yeah, well, and anyone who's watching live, we'd love you to chime in, say where you're chiming in from, and chime in the conversation, because more and more as I going on in my journey, and I'm glad you're bringing up this conversation topic, VU, about ownership and freedom, the responsibilities. I think ever since I really focused on building my own business, I began to feel like I owned myself, and I was getting more freedom and more responsibility. Now, I worked in that corporate world for a long time, but and I heard someone say something that was really good. He said, whenever you regain your time, you are winning. Whenever you give up your time, you are losing. Who you give your time to controls you.
Exactly.
That's it
So
exactly.
yeah, like, and I heard this on another broadcast, and I heard the guy says, what, I got to go back. I gotta write that down. I'm gonna like save that statement, because I think a number of black people are owned. They're owned. They don't own. They're owned. They don't have their freedom. Mr. Ryan Knight's going to be jumping in just a second, and responses will come with. So this is perfect. What we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back with Ryan Knight and his son, uh, a new ally, if he has time, to join the conversation. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back, and you're going to have 4.5 allies on the line with us. So you're watching. I like that. Well, an ally in training, 4.5. The half is in training. We're gonna come back, and Ryan will be a good person to bring in on this conversation, because he is an entrepreneur, and his organization mentor and helps entrepreneurs. But
Excellent.
talking about entrepreneurs, here's one himself. Check him out.
And that's what I feel like. You feel like you're the Harry Tubman of the mind.
I
I
am.
feel like I'm the Harry. I'm one of the Harry Tubmans of intelligent Black people. Like I want to liberate y'all from like being left behind and ignored and oblivion. Now, really, the
Yeah.
rappers get all the attention. Seriously, does anybody else feel this way? Like ignorant Black people, they'll be all up, getting all the headlines on the Shade Room
Overly
and
sexualized Black
over
folks.
like the twerkers and the just people that don't always represent the best of us, the diversity, like people like Dr. Vibe. Like everybody should know about people like Dr. Vibe.
They
Dr.
really
Vibe is
should.
he's trying to do good work for Black people.
Dr. Vibe from Toronto. Good to see you, my brother. Dr. Vibe. Everybody follow Dr. Vibe. He has a great show. He's very good at what he does, and I have a lot of respect for him.
Okay, so let me hop into this. What's up, Dr. Vibe? How you doing? Everybody, if you see Dr. Vibe in the chat, everybody go follow the Dr. Vibe show. Dr. Vibe is a real smart brother and a good human being. I like the guy a lot, and he's very intelligent. And I think everyone should pay attention to what he's got going on. We got to shine the spotlight on the intelligent Black people out here that are really doing the good work. Don't just pay attention to the rappers and the celebrities. A lot of these people are losers. Your true winners are your people in your community that are really having your back. Helping us to have stronger families and a stronger community. So Dr. Vibe is in that category. So you might see the Dr. Vibe show in this chat. If you see him, please go follow him. Okay. All right. So anyway.
All right. Dr. Boyce Watkins and his beautiful wife, Dr. Alicia Watkins, are supporters of the Dr. Vibe show, and I support them. And Dr. Boyce is a true entrepreneur. He built his platform, no outside money, because he believes when you take money from governments and corporations, they dictate the message. So based on that, you are watching the Dr. Vibe show and the Dr. Vibe's allies. And today we are chatting about a really good subject: ownership and freedom, and the responsibilities that come with it. And bringing to the stage a gentleman who I co-host the Morning Vibe with Monday and Friday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. And he's brought another ally in training. Ryan Knight, what's going on?
Yeah, good day, gentlemen. Good to see
Hello,
you.
Ryan.
You say
What's
hello.
going on? How you doing?
You said hello, but what's your name?
CHIS.
Say it. You don't spell it. All
Well,
right.
that's Christian.
I know. Good to see
So,
everyone.
yeah, Christian is there. And Ryan, before we go any further, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to bring on the Instagram audience, going to catch a bit of this conversation. What is up? It's Dr. Vibe here, Dr. Vibe Allies. We have broadcasting a little bit live here on Instagram. We've got Black men from Canada, United States, and England live right now. And we're talking about ownership and freedom and the responsibilities that come with it. Hey, Max HT. Yes, Max. What is up? Icon 3_3. We've got VU, Victor Unlimited from Tennessee. We've got Clive Henry all the way from Nottingham, England. Yes, Robin Hood Land. 5 hours ahead. ACB Therapist on Instagram. What is up? And we also got Ryan Knight from
Are you sitting or?
Durham region. I don't know. Is it Ajax, Whitby? I don't know in Ontario. So we're talking about ownership and freedom. The response, Ajax, Ontario. So Ryan, share a little bit about yourself quickly, and then let's get your take on ownership and freedom and the responsibilities that come from with it from a Black lens.
And then come back.
A little bit about myself for those that don't know. My name is Ryan Knight, one of the co-founders of the Afro Caribbean Business Network. So we support entrepreneurs of African and Caribbean heritage with their businesses. I'm an entrepreneur myself. I do run a company called Detailing Nights. We provide mobile waterless car cleaning, so going to people's houses or their offices, cleaning their cars without water. And we run a youth entrepreneurship program. So when we talk about ownership, that is the mantra and the drum that I beat every single day. Is even if you have a career, owning a business on the side, to me, is a great tool to use to build wealth. And if you're young, it's one of the best times to start a business, because typically they don't create paths for youth into entrepreneurship. It's usually something that people find on their own. So now I feel if somebody had shown me entrepreneurship. You said good evening?
Yes.
Good evening, Christian. All right.
So good, exactly. You're supposed to speak up. So if entrepreneurship was something that was introduced to me when I was younger, I feel I wouldn't have been drifting as much as I did in my 20s. So it's definitely something that I think everybody should have some piece of entrepreneurship as they're growing and even if they're older.
Okay. Anyone want to ask Ryan any questions? I can always jump into Clive or VU. This is the first time you're meeting Ryan. Anything you want to add on to what he said or ask him any questions, especially dealing with youth entrepreneurship?
Most definitely. Welcome, Ryan. Welcome to you and your son.
Yeah, appreciate that.
And I just wanted to ask, how long have you been on this mission to help younger people become entrepreneurs? And how did you get started in it?
Because I would say the full dive into entrepreneurship started for me in 2009 when I was working at a corporate job, thinking that it was stable. I was growing with the company. They're sending me on trips, business trips to professional development and to build the business. And then 2 weeks before my wedding, getting laid off and realizing that it wasn't as safe as I thought it was. And now with that gut check, my father had always been planting that seed around, hey, if you want to control your destiny, you should start your own business. If you want to be rich, you should be an entrepreneur and start a business. So I used that time to say, okay, now is the time for me to, one, go back to school. I had been on a journey of completing this 3-year diploma at Sheridan College. And once I started the business, I suddenly got way more focused on school and was able to complete that diploma. So for me, entrepreneurship not only stopped me from drifting, but also allowed me to focus and get that diploma. And the way I saw it work for me, so I'll say I graduated 2012, that's where now I said, okay, I can use business to actually teach other youth that might be in the same situation I was, getting in trouble with the law in that last kind of couple of years of school. Also, hearing from probation officers that, oh, you have more potential, than you shouldn't be sitting in front of me. Just things that youth typically don't have somebody tell them the potential they have. And so now we have a tool that we can give to somebody that I wish somebody gave to me, to say, if somebody came into my high school class, and two things I wish happened. One, somebody sat down and said, today we are going to learn about entrepreneurship. By the end of the day, you are going to start a business, and wherever it goes, but at least you're going to experience it. And the second part is owning stocks. Just to say, somebody come into class and say, listen, today we're going to learn about the stock market, and you are going to own your first stock, even if it's a penny stock. Like those things I feel would have put me on a completely different trajectory. So that's why, and I would say I officially started in 2013 with the youth program, the youth entrepreneurship program. But yeah, that's what really drives me, is because I know it would have helped me earlier in life as well.
That's great. One more question comes to mind, then I'll slide to the left and let Clive take over. Uh, Something I was thinking about was this: in your experience so far, what is the difference that you found between having the entrepreneurship and ownership conversation with younger people as opposed to older? What's been the reactions and the
The
receptance? Mhm.
Yeah, the one thing with young people, when I talk to them, especially when I'm speaking to a group of youth in a class, and you'll ask them, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I notice, especially Black youth, will say, oh, I see myself getting a minimum wage job. And it made me realize our youth aren't dreaming anymore. Like something has happened where they stop dreaming big dreams. And so I'll ask, I was like, minimum wage job, we can get that done by next week. I'm talking 5 years from now. Like, where do you like unleash the limiters or unlock the limiters, and just whatever comes to mind, just let it flow. And so that dreaming aspect, I find a lot of youth don't feel they have the ability to start a business. The ones that do, I find right now, they have already started. If a person has the thought of starting a business and has the confidence, they will open a Shopify store, they will sell from their Instagram. So if they aren't already doing it, I'm finding that they typically don't believe that they can. They do get caught up in seeing other people start businesses. So before, it was because you're seeing like the Zuckerbergs and the Bill Gates and the Elon Musks. So you're only seeing the grandiose entrepreneur. So you don't feel like, oh, that's not me. And that's, I feel like, how I felt. Like, oh, I can't be a business owner because I'm not at that level. But there's so many people around us that are business owners that I didn't realize: the mechanics, the plumbers, the contractors, the roofers, that are all running their own business, making good money, providing for their families, and they're entrepreneurs. But nobody sits you down and explains, like, yeah, there's different levels to entrepreneurship that you can engage in. And then when I'm talking to older people, it's almost the same thing. If they have the confidence, they're already operating, and then we're working with them to get it done. But I find older people get locked into the employee mindset, where they get trapped by, they call it the golden shackles, where they have a good job, they have good benefits, so they don't want to rock the boat. And entrepreneurship is perceived as rocking the boat, because now you have no benefits usually to start, you have no safety, if you want to call it that. I'll tell you, my mom still wants me to get a government job, so I haven't completely convinced that entrepreneurship is. And hey, entrepreneurship has taken, not that mom, my mom doesn't feel like entrepreneurship safe. So it's breaking people out of that comfort zone, and a lot of times we're pushed into it. Like, it's, you get laid off like I did, or you're just burnt out. I was having a conversation, actually, just was it Tuesday, about a lady that quit her job because she's just burnt out and tired of it, and then starting her own business, doing exactly her same expertise that she was in a corporate environment, but that environment wasn't good for her mental health. So she had to exit and is now building up her own practice. But these are the things you almost wish it didn't come to something tragic for us to start a business. It should be an option that we always have there. And I would say even have it on the side at the same time so that you can kind of build it slowly, but that becomes your safety net. If something doesn't work out with corporate, you now have something that you're building. And I remember I used to do like pizza delivery on the side when I was younger. And when I would get a regular job, I'd always know that I could fall back on the pizza delivery. Like it just was always there. I knew I could make money. So that's where I feel a lot of the safety isn't there because we're relying on this one corporation to now provide for your entire family. And if things change, we see the 2008, around 2009, that's where I lost my job because the economy changed on a whole and everything goes out the window. Everything that you thought was sacred is just fluff. So, and then there's nothing to really fall back on.
I just want to jump in here because we have a number of people who have jumped in for a few moments on Instagram Live. So I just want to shout them out. Classic_C_gems. Thanks for dropping by. Lisa D. Tinsley, part of the Never Settle family. And Psycho Sankofa in Cypher. Thank you for being on Instagram, checking out. We're having Dr. Vibe's allies here. We have Ryan Knight, Clive Henry, Victory Unlimited, and myself, Dr. Vibe. We're talking about ownership and freedom and responsibilities that come with it. And actually did have a comment on Instagram. Lawrence is chasing dreams, said, create your own foundation or forever live on the plantation.
Right.
And Dr. LJ speaks. Thanks for dropping by. Simone Cordis, thank you for dropping by. One thing I found these days, I'm really focused, and I want Black people to focus as many as possible on ownership of their health, wealth, and relationships. And I think on many occasions, you're more able to achieve the goals in those areas when you have ownership of what you do full time than if you are in a corporate setting. So I'm going to slide also with VU to the side because Clive, I want you to join in because you've been self-employed since many a year. So when the ownership, freedom, and responsibilities subject is brought up, what does it make you think about and share with us?
Okay, well, first of all, Ryan, I want to congratulate you on your achievements. I've got a similar story to you. Are you from the Caribbean then, or are your parents from the Caribbean?
Yeah, my parents are Jamaican, and then I was born in Toronto.
Yes, so mine are Jamaican too. So my story is similar to yours. I worked for corporate, and then I got pushed out, and then that's when I became, self-employed, as an entrepreneur. So similar story, but it's forced out, but it's destiny because now you've got the freedom, the wisdom, and the experience, and me
True,
too.
true.
But yeah, I mean, I've been self-employed now for 10 years as a cab driver. So I'm a cab driver, and like being in Nottingham in England, I get to go all over the country, London, Birmingham, all the different airports. People come from all over the world. I meet people every single day. I learn a lot. People discuss everything. They tell me stories. So I'm gaining a lot of experience. I also have free time to learn other things. I wrote a book of my autobiography with my experiences in there as well. So, it frees up your time, and you can also do other things. Like if I wanted to get a corporate job, I could do that temporarily. It gives you more options. It is scary at first, it's the unknown, but it's a case of, okay, like Dr. Vibe said earlier, I've been on every Dr. Vibe show because I can wake up whenever I want. It's like 2:44 in the UK now, but I can wake up when I want and go to work because my job is people don't understand the job role of a cab driver, but a cab driver, just like the airport, just like the hospital, we are open for business every single day, every single hour. I could stop now and go to work. There is no time limit. That's why I chose that job, because people think sometimes when they don't see me working in the daytime, I might have a job at the airport in London. So I won't work. I will take
True.
the day off, and I'm going to make that money regardless. What I can make in one day, I would take 5 days. And so it's just people understanding how things work. It's education, and it's also people explaining it in a way that, Black people understand, because a lot of people don't understand my job. They think it's like, oh yeah, that's for you. They give you a tip and they go, that's for you. You're thinking it's all mine. I give them a percentage of the money what I gross. It's like gross and net pay. A lot of people, when I worked in corporate, they didn't know what gross and net pay was, and I used to, because I
Right.
like to read. I like to know what things are. Gross is what
Yes.
the total what you gross, and the net is what you after your taxes when everything's taken out. So it's just,
Yes.
people, they don't read. And I would love if I could have one wish for Black people to be able to read more or get what in here to them. That is the one wish, because it's not that difficult, but people aren't showing. And it like breaks my heart, because there are a lot of people that do know, but they don't want to help. So that's why I've got to give you full respect, because you're helping other people. You're helping yourself, but you're also helping other people, and that's something that's rare. We have you were saying gatekeepers. People have made it so I'm going to shut the door. It doesn't work like that. If you want to have a
Right. And
community
we
what
see that
works,
happen.
you have to open up the village. Everyone's going to help,
Yes.
and this is what people don't understand. It's like when you see stories like people like the Oprah Winfrey's, when she goes to Europe and they don't understand who she is and they discriminate. They don't care how much she's worth. They don't know who she is. You're a Black woman, you're asking to see her handbag. They don't care about that. In America, they would recognize her, but in Switzerland or wherever she was, they don't. I don't care who Oprah is. I don't even know who that lady is. So this is what Black people need to understand. Your wealth, how rich you are, does not matter. When the police stop you, they're looking at your color. you know if you go to
Yes.
Harvard and they stop in the car, they're looking at your color. They're not bothered about who you are. It's the system is the system. And it's like getting that through to people. They think they made it. I'm corporate, so I'm important. It doesn't work
Right.
like that. And it's like you said, you're similar to me. You thought you was in a secure job, and then things change overnight, and you're like, wow, the sky fell in. And I was in the same. And then it makes you realize, okay, this is that it really is. The mask has fallen off. Okay, then I can start. And then once you start and you start getting the confidence and you build up, then things improve. And now I'm comfortable. So it's a learning curve. But yeah,
I
it's
have a
got
question. I
to
have a
know
question
about
for
these
you.
things.
I have a question for each one of them.
Nice. Love
Each
that.
one of you, starting with VU. VU, what's your definition of freedom?
I think my definition of freedom would be to do what I want to do, to go where I want to go, to be who I was born to be without fear of repercussion.
Mm, okay. Ryan.
Oh boy. Freedom is tricky. I asked my business partner, Chris Beth, once, if the cage is big enough, would you still feel that you're free? Because now, when it's constrained, like chattel slavery, you can see the constraints. But if you get the illusion of freedom, but you're still bonded, and I'm thinking of like debt bondage. I'm thinking of just the rules that we agreed to as a society. Is that true freedom, or is it freedom that we're comfortable with? So and like, to answer the question, freedom, it's so tricky, because it comes down to what are we okay with. And your life, you're never truly free because there's no chaos. Like, nobody would want chaos. So what does the opposite of chaos look like? And then that's what we agree to. And then when things kind of shift outside of that, are we truly free if we reprimand people for actually being themselves? If we're talking about economically, that's where I can definitely say having the resources to match my vision to my bank account. Like, if I think of things and I want to do it, and my bank account says no, I have no freedom. If the bank account says yes, I feel like I have freedom.
Okay. Clive.
Okay, you got two types of freedom. You got individual freedom, and individual freedom for me would be what I've got now, the ability to do what I want, work when I want, and do the things that I want to do when I want. On a collective, freedom means to me, what I would really like is for all black people to have the same opportunities, because we don't have the same opportunities. And depending on where you live, that can affect it. Depending on who you are, that can affect it. And societies in general, the systems that are in place, they hold us back. We have got gatekeepers, we have got so many obstacles to overcome. There's so many difficulties, just living in the hood. You might have the potential to be a great entrepreneur, but you live in the hood with people who are jealous of you and you get killed at a young age. So
Yes.
there are people that understand how being black affects the total chaos what comes with being a black person. Just to be alive. I'm where I live in Nottingham is considered the ghetto. It's not ghetto like New York, where I've visited before or whatever, but it is still the ghetto. And I know people that didn't get past 21 years old. They died through gang violence. So it is very difficult for, black males especially, to aspire to their, and a lot of them are very talented, but they hang out with, as they say in the West Indian community, bad company, and they go down the wrong path and get killed. So it's a crazy world, but we, as a collective, we've got to do better. Our elders have got to do better to help to show the youngsters, and just spell it out for them, because I think people turn their back on the youth. I try to, as my job as being a cab driver, I speak to the youth all the time, and you speak to them and they're really cool. Even when they've got a mean mug face, you have a one-to-one conversation with them and you can find out information from them, and they want to do these things, but they don't know how. They're not in the right circles. They haven't got the right educational background. They don't have the family help. They've got one parent. They've got no parent. It's so many difficult things for, the youth. They're up against it. And then, they no help. What do? You give up, like you said. What was their 5-year plan? They said minimum wage. That's not a plan. That's a given. You can get that without trying, So
Exactly.
it's
All right.
crazy.
I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it a little bit deeper here with each one of you in a second. Want to shout out on Instagram, Charlene E. Day. Oh my gosh, haven't seen you since when I used to be on Clubhouse. But great to have you on the Instagram live here. Dr. Vibe here hosting Dr. Vibe Allies with Ryan Knight from Canada, Victory Unlimited from Tennessee, Memphis, Tennessee. Let me get that proper. Memphis, Tennessee, and Clive Henry from Nottingham, England, 5 hours ahead, where it's coming up to 3 o'clock in the morning. This may be our last conversation piece, because I know the most valuable thing y'all have is time. I give you total freedom, each black man that's on my screen right now. What would be the first thing you do? VU. You have total freedom. What's the first thing you do?
To me, if I had total freedom, I would do everything that I'm doing now that I want to do in regards to, I just believe that, God's gift to us is our lives, and our gift back to Him is the way we live our lives. And I just believe all the talents, the gifts, the propensities that I have, the things that I exploit on a daily basis, just because it's natural for me to do so, I would just do more of that. To me, freedom would be just like money is. Money is an amplifier. Money doesn't really change who a person is, it just makes you more of that. So I would just think I would amplify and live more fully out loud. I think that's what I would do.
Excellent. Ryan Knight, you have total freedom. What's the first thing you're going to do?
Yeah, my mind just goes to, I can't be free by myself. It's like, but then you start thinking of, is it Allegory of the Cave, if you're free and then you're trying to explain to others how to get free, do they now attack you because they can't understand what freedom is? So, and my mind went to my mom. It's like, is my parents, are they free? Can I go and get them out of whatever? Like, I just want them to be happy. So if I have total freedom and that allows me to make sure that my parents are happy, I feel like the generation ahead of me is good. And then my family, it's like, okay, is everybody in my family free? Everybody in my family happy? That's good. And then how do you set up freedom for the next generations? Maybe at least 3 or 4 generations down the line, to make sure that this is something that stays. So yeah, if that's financial freedom we're talking about, again, a generation ahead and the generations behind, I'd have to make sure that everybody can experience that, and it's not just Ryan by himself is free. And as best I can, extend that to the fuller community.
Clive Henry.
I think the first thing I would do is go to Africa and visit every country out there to get an
Nice.
understanding more of,
Yes.
to find out more of, of who we are as a people. I think there's 50 something countries there. I would visit all of them. And what I would like to do if I had total freedom is teach, help, because what do they say? People are standing in the shade because someone planted a tree a long time ago. So what you do now is going to outlive you. So I want the people to be able to benefit from this. I'm not about hoarding wealth. When you are really, really rich, and you're going to leave it. The Queen of England died last year, and she left all her wealth. Now we've got King Charles. So we've got to start understanding that wealth is knowledge, and not worrying about these other things, because as a unity, we win. It takes a village to raise a child, they say. And like I said, there's so much information out there now, what you can see on the internet, what is being pushed forward by even white scientists and white explorers and everything, where they're telling you about Africa and where things started. People are just learning these things now, and it's like, it's been a journey. I've been studying these things for a while, but every day you can find out something new every single day about Africa, melanated people. There's it's unlimited with the information. The first universities, Africa, the first everything, Africa, the first people, Africa. The material wealth what comes from Africa every single day runs the world. But then they portray Africa as a poor place with a few mud huts. So the propaganda machine, if that's got to stop. That is definitely got to stop. But yeah, I just freedom for me, but freedom for the rest of my race. That's what I would like.
Excellent.
100%.
All right. All right. Comment here from Frequency Event Promotions. Freedom, what a word. That is such a journey to pursue. So we are going to end it off right there, gentlemen. Want to say to the IG crowd, most of you stayed on for most of it. So thank you so much. If you want to catch the part that you missed, go to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, subscribe, hit the notification button. You can watch the whole replay, share it out, share it out, share it out. As always, to the IG family, remember to give yourselves grace and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. And gentlemen, any final comments we would like to make after today's conversation about ownership, freedom, and responsibilities that come with it? Any final comments? VU, final comments, and how can people get in touch with you?
My final comment I would say is, remember that freedom takes on many different forms. Uh, Freedom means different things to all of us, and each of us has a perspective, right? And so we will know when we are experiencing freedom. And for those who feel like they are not free, use the situation or the scenario you find yourself in now to finance your freedom, to plan your jailbreak, as it were.
Yes.
And as far as reaching out to me, you can reach me at victoryunlimitedshow.com. But before you go over there, Make sure your insurance is paid up, because that is a destination that I created for the empowerment of men
Okay.
and women, and it helps people become better people today than they were yesterday. So it's a archive of shows
I
over there.
love
So
that
that's where you'll find
tagline.
me.
Love that tagline. Always love it. Ryan, final comments when it comes to ownership, freedom, and responsibilities.
They really quickly, we should do an audit of ourselves. What do we actually own? And if there's not, that's almost like that net worth statement. It's like, is your assets more than your liabilities? Are we owning things? Are we moving towards ownership? And if it's not, that becomes like, that became my purposeful journey in life, to switch when I first did that net income statement and it was really lopsided to the liability side. I was like, I have to start shifting from buying things that are worthless to actually buying things that are assets. So, and then the more knowledge and the more you learn about building up that freedom of ownership, like you said, the responsibility comes with that to teach. And one, teach my children, two, teach the community. So everything that I'm learning about ownership and developing that freedom, I'm looking forward to teach.
And how can people get in touch with you?
Best way is the website, Ryan O'Neil Knight. O'Neil is Oneil. So RyanO'NeilKnight.com. We do business coaching there. If you're looking for funding or just wanted to set up a social enterprise, that's the best way to get a hold of me.
That's in Canada, by the way.
Yes, but our training is, well, we do US and Canada. So
All
US,
right.
if people are looking for funding, we can help.
Clive Henry, close it up.
Okay, well, what I gotta say is as far as ownership's concerned, people really need to start studying that and think of their future and their children's futures. And then they will start to study the greats and see how they can change their lives for the better. And also, if people have got an urge to start a business, because a lot of it's just confidence. It's like driving a car, it's confidence. You know, just basically start studying how you do it. Ask people, you know, like I say to people all the time, you can contact me and ask me. I get so many people contacting me on the internet, and I always make time for them, you know, because I know I was that kid
Yes.
what wants to ask questions. You know,
Yes.
I'm the kid who will ask. I'm not scared to ask, and I've asked a lot of people to get to where I am, and a lot of people helped me. And you're surprised, like, oh my god, that person. You know, some people are famous as well. It's like, oh my god, they came back. So a person's a person. Ask. All they can say is no, or I'm busy. You know, and this is how I look at things. But if people ask me a question, I'll give them a good answer, and I give them two sides of the coin so they can make a clear decision to make a positive move. Because it's like when you were little, your parents used to say they just tell you the answer, or they say that's it. They don't give you a reason. Especially the
True.
Caribbean community, they don't just do it this way. They don't tell you why
Yes.
you're doing it this way. But you know, like I said, just go for it. Go for it. Ask, study. Go to. You don't need to go to the library anymore. Google is your best friend. Google, YouTube. People have got everything on YouTube with videos of how to do everything from making a cake to stock market to entrepreneurship to being a mechanic. Anything you can dream of, it is on the internet. Don't waste your time on the internet looking at TikToks and whatnot. If you want to do business, you can do it. And as far as like helping people, I am always available. So you can reach me on, I'm on, all over the internet. I'm on Facebook. If you search Clive Henry, I'm in Nottingham, England. You'll see me pop up, probably the first one on there. You'll see me on Instagram. If you search Racism is Real or Clive Henry, you'll see me on there. I'm on TikTok, Racism is Real. I'm on Twitter, at Clive Henry One or hashtag Racism is Real. So any people that want help, I will help you and direct you to where you need to look to find the help, because I'm a firm believer in helping and passing it on to let other people win. I'm not about being up there looking down on people. I want everyone to win. I'm a background person. I've always been a background person, but I've been thrust to the forefront, not because of I want to do it, it's God's design. But I am always going to help people if I can, because that's how I've been raised, and that's what I believe in, helping the whole community to win. So yeah, this is it. We got to do it
Okay.
now or
Love that.
never.
All right. Well, I just
Yeah,
want to
now or
add to
never.
that, and I agree with what all the gentlemen said. I think one thing I've learned is if you want to move ahead fast, ask questions.
Hmm.
That's the quickest way of moving ahead, asking questions. And I agree almost all with what Clive said, but be careful who you get your information from.
Valid. Yeah.
Because, right? So consider the source. Consider
Yes.
the source in a lot of things. Like if it,
Several
just
sources.
yeah. So, take a look at various things, but fully agree that asking questions is fully ahead. And I'll just want to put on the screen before we leave here a quote from a gentleman that I respect a lot and also others should respect a lot. I'm going to put his information. Here we go. Wise man named George Fraser. You may or may not know him. He's regarded as Black America's #1 network. He says, our people will not change when they see the light. They'll change when they feel the heat. Are you feeling the heat?
Okay. Right. Right.
Are you feeling the heat to get freedom? Are you feeling to get ownership? Are you feeling the heat to get in control? Move like there's heat under your backside.
Yes.
All right. Move
Yes.
like that's with my fellow Jamaicans on the screen here. Move like you want ownership, move like you want freedom, and move that you want more responsibility. And move like the more you know, the more you need to know. On that note, thank you very much, gentlemen. We'll have you all back next month with more posse. But thanks also to Ryan for jumping in on short notice. Be well, keep the faith,
Yeah.
and remember to give yourselves grace.
All right.
All right, we'll get these gentlemen
Yes, yes,
off
yes.
because they got things to do, and they will talk after the show finishes briefly, and because they don't want to keep Clive up too late. So there we go. All right. So we do this once a month. Dr. Vibes Allies, the last Thursday of each month. So the next conversation, put it in your calendar, September 28th, 9 p.m. Eastern time. But in between that, and I didn't do it today, but a few things. I did mention it briefly, but subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube. When you do, subscribe and hit the notification button. It notifies more people about the epic conversations that we have here. I just steer the ship. All the family drives the ship, the audience and the people, the friends that come on. Also, follow the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. If you would like to advertise your product or service on the Dr. Vibe Show, please email me, dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. Also, if you want to get in touch with me, you can go to the website, the drvibeshow.com. Email me, dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, The Dr. Vibe Show. Twitter at drvibeshow. I guess I can't call it Twitter anymore. It's X. And then Instagram at the drvibeshow.com. And you can watch replays of this epic conversation on my website, also on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. That is it. So want to thank everyone who watched live or who watched on the replay. Thanks to the Instagram people who jumped in for a bit. And this is how we close it out. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions. They aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. And remember to give yourselves grace. And we'll see you on the digital highway. God bless. Peace to all. Keep the faith and walk good.